And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premiere podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. I'm in a rush. Recording this the day that I am supposed to be recording this. That's good. Recording it at a time period where I don't have time to record. Not so good. I do have an interview with a person of note coming up. We will talk about that on the next episode. Actually, it's probably going to be its own episode too. But for now, what am I doing? Oh, I have to do the intro for for Lyric Lewis. Okay, this is the promotion. This is the intro part for Lyric Lewis. I got a special interview with comedian, with improvisational artist, with all-around cool person, Lyric Lewis, who is here to promote her spot on Night Court, on NBC's Night Court. She has a role on there, a very quick hit, but very funny nonetheless. She plays a character who is a wedding planner. Anyway, I like Lyric. She was in a show called AP Bio, and that show just kept getting the short stick over there at NBC Universal. It was a show that was on NBC proper, and then NBC canceled it, and then Peacock, which is an NBC subsidiary, I guess, picked it up, and then that it only lasted 2 seasons over there, and then was unceremoniously moidalized. She also appeared in Baskets for a couple episodes. If you like that show, is very fun and very funny. Three different actually styles of comedy, I would say, between Baskets, AP Bio, and the new Night Court. But all fun nonetheless. You know, Lyric Lewis is like I said, she's definitely one of my faves, especially on AP Bio. She was like, that show had no negative parts about it. It was so funny. Everybody was good. And not in the, I'm not saying that in the fake terms of, oh, everybody's good in that. No, everybody was good. From the young adults who played the teenagers, because I know a lot of them were adults, to the adults who played teachers. Well written, very funny. And she did a good job in Night Court as well, which is what she's here to promote. You can follow Lyric on Instagram at Lyric Lewis. Lyric Lewis. It looks like Lyrical Wiss, where she posts pictures of her daughter. You can watch her on television. Watch AP Bio. Maybe if enough people watch it, then Peacock will be like, oh, this show's getting a little boost. Maybe we should bring it back for about 6 to 12 to 15 episodes. And also we talk about her filming a lot of AP Bio while she was pregnant. It's very funny because like you'll see like one episode she's not, and then the next like 20 she is. It's very funny, and then they try to explain it, and it's, oh my god, so great. Lyric Lewis is fantastic. All right, check out that interview. If you want to watch a video version of it, then head to what is this show called? youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can see a video version under the interviews, which is great. And yeah. All right. And then, you know, people who are watching the video, they'll just see the transition, and then they'll come back. And you know how things work. Okay. I'm going to go transition. Enjoy the interview. We're back. No time has passed. I hope you enjoyed that Lyric Lewis interview. If you are listening to the show, I don't know if I have cut anything. I probably did not, based on past Chad stuff. What's been going on? I saw Dose Movies this week. Spent what very little money I have to go to the theater to watch John Wick Chapter 4 and Scream 6. And holy cow, both movies are fantastic. John Wick, I just can't believe that movie exists, that entire series exists. You know, I'll say this about both series. I've seen a majority of Scream movies. I've seen 1, parts of 2. I've not seen 3. I saw 4 and 5. And then obviously I watched 6. And then John Wick, I've seen every single one of those multiple times, with the exception of 4, which I would go back a lot like Avatar: Way of Water. I would go back and watch that immediately. I would go back today. It is crazy how both of those series of both series of movies. I don't want to be a jerk. I don't want to.
Follow me on Letterboxd so you can get my 5-star reviews of movies. I talk about how The Whale is an auteur's majestic sense of obesity in America, and then I also give 5 stars to Avengers Endgame.
Anyway, both movie franchises have they're all just great movies. And again, I have not seen Scream 3, but I mean, I can only assume. They're all just fantastic, wonderful, good movies, quote unquote good, because that doesn't mean anything. I can't believe that both movies have done what both sets of movies have done what they need to do and done it well. I mean, although there are parts of Scream 5 and Scream 6 where a lot of the characters are annoying. They're very annoying, and there's one character in particular who keeps explaining things to the audience. Mind you, that is what she does, but it is just so... I don't want to be talked down to. And she's annoying. It's the sister of the guy of Mason Gooding. He plays Chad. Very handsome black guy playing a Chad. I love it. How often are we represented? Never. Okay. What else has been going on? That's pretty much it. I gotta tell you, I got nothing else going on. I don't know if I kept in the, this is the video. I don't know if I kept in the part where I said I'm going to be talking to somebody today. But yeah, that's going to be happening in about 40 some odd minutes. Okay. So let's get into some stories. I just clicked on one on my email that came in, and it is, I think I will talk about it. Okay. I was unsure, but let me do it. This comes from Elizabeth Wagmeister at Variety. She says the Bachelor creator Mike Fleiss departed franchise after investigation into racial discrimination. Now, I've not read this, and I've seen one season of The Bachelor, and it's been in my periphery for the past 20 years. I will say this: I can watch one episode of that show, and I can see who the contestants are. I can see who the majority of the Bachelors and the Bachelorettes were. And I can go, of course there's racial discrimination. I can look probably at the crew names and go, there's definitely racial discrimination going on there. Mike Fleiss announced that he was leaving earlier this week, and he released a chipper statement to the media, as Elizabeth puts it. He's very excited and happy is what it looks like. When Variety questioned the reasoning behind Fleiss's exit, ABC and Warner Bros. TV, which produced The Bachelor, wouldn't comment on his departure, and an individual close to Fleiss deflected, simply saying, "It's been 21 years." Which makes sense. You know, Meredith Grey, Ellen Pompeo wants to leave Grey's Anatomy. Okay, that makes sense. But maybe there's something underneath the skin. Behind the scenes, what's been going on? There is apparently an investigation into allegations of racial discrimination that was conducted by Warner Bros. TV. A handful of individuals familiar with the situation tell Variety that a number of employees had complained to Human Resources about Fleiss, which led to a thorough investigation that was conducted by an outside party in the past few months. Some of those individuals that spoke were prominent producers within the franchise, which includes Bachelorette and Bachelor in Paradise. During the investigation, sources say producers complained about Fleiss's bullying behavior, as well as his resistance to increasing diversity on the show over 2 decades. I mean, let's just put it this way. If you've never seen The Bachelor, most of the contestants in the Bachelor and Bachelorette seats have been white. And mostly in the end, they choose people who could be their brother and sister to be their partners. Individuals who spoke during the investigation expressed that when production staffers suggested casting more diverse reality stars, Fleiss would not take their suggestions and would, quote, lash out against them. The individuals who spoke anonymously with Variety said, first of all, if I'm bringing this up, I'm going to be like, yo, this dude's racist. But again, not me. Said that throughout the investigation, a common theme that repeatedly came up was that the fight for change was a source of frustration for many staff members. People said he would retaliate against people for having minorities and black people on the show. Okay, well, I don't know how to separate black people from that number. He favored certain people over other people. Yeah, very true. He would say minorities don't get ratings, said an individual familiar with the investigation. Yeah, it's I fully expected this, and his ratings thing, while not true, has, I mean, it's been like, it's crazy because I think I'll put it this way, when you tell your audience, when you say the audience doesn't want, for probably the biggest dating show on television, when you say the audience doesn't want race, and then for 20 years or for 19 some odd years, you say, you go, all right, fine, we'll sprinkle in a couple of people as contestants and not even as the main people, but then get them off the show quickly because it's all fake. It's like wrestling, it's fake. And then you finally have a season with a black bachelorette, and then you finally have a season with a black bachelor after now 19 years or 20 years, 19 years probably. When did Rachel Lindsay first do it? Anyway, you're telling them what they want to watch, and that they only want to see certain sets of people in front of the camera dating certain other sets of people. That's what I view what Fleiss and, I'm going to say it, the entire Bachelor franchise has done. This coming season, The Bachelorette's going to air. It's going to have Charity Lawson, a black contestant from the most recent The Bachelor. But again, it's going to be, I mean, I guarantee you the guys that they give her are going to all mostly be black. They should do a lottery. They should just do a lottery system. I mean, obviously, out of like, they cast these people, which is good, which is fine. But they should do a lottery system. They should cast, 40, do a lottery system out of them and choose 20 and make it diverse. Matt James was the only black lead for The Bachelor. Rachel Lindsay in 2017. So about 18 years. Rachel Lindsay was the first of the black bachelorettes, I believe. First ever, yeah. Behind the scenes, the franchise named its first black executive producer in 2021 with Jodie Bakersville, a veteran Bachelor producer who had been with the show for a decade when she promoted to the executive ranks. Many employees had no idea there was an investigation into Fleiss's behavior. 2 Bachelor production staffers who have been with the franchise since the beginning tell Variety they were shocked to hear about the complaints he made against Fleiss. That's just insane. Of course, the next sentence, both of these men, done. I don't need to read that. I don't need to read the rest of that. And then some defenses against them stuff. This guy was also accused in 2019 of attacking his then pregnant wife. Miss America? Oh my God. How does this ugly, if you look up this guy, how does this ugly man with thinning hair, it says he's 35, which I highly doubt. If he's 35 and I'm 30, I would, he's 58. Okay. I missed it. I misread something. It's good. Get at him. Just get out of here. Get out of here. We don't need that guy. And in fact, we don't need the Bachelor. Get rid of that crap. We don't need any of this. I don't like the Bachelor in the first place. I don't see why. Let's do a season of the queer Bachelor. Let's get someone who's bi, or poly or whatever the things are, and get them up there as the main bachelor bachelorette, and then have a bunch of people as their contestants, men, women, the rest. Have them as a contestants. That would be so fun to watch. I'd actually watch that season instead of having 6 blonde women and 8 brunette women and 2 coloreds. Let's move on to the next story. This comes from another Elizabeth Lapato over at The Verge. How much money do we think Substack lost last year? Substack is a newsletter website where you can write free newsletters. You can do whatever you need to, but you can get people to pay you. So it's like Medium. It's like having your own website just filled with your newsletters, with your musings, with your whatever. I've done news time stories about Substack. I may have covered this on the podcast before, but it used to, at one point, it was such a big, exploding, upward trajectory style, I hate to say media, but version of media, I guess, that people were doing really well. I believe there was one woman a couple years ago who was writing history newsletters, and she was one of the first millionaires just based off of writing for Substack alone. And then Substack was also great because it did not take all of your money. They didn't take a huge percentage. But now, according to Elizabeth Lapato over here at The Verge, Substack is pretty desperate. They sent out a fundraising email on March 28th. It is the 31st now. That is just essentially asking for money, $100 or more. This is written by the Substack founders, Jiraj Sethi, Chris Best, and Hamish McKenzie. And they're saying they're asking their own writers for Substack, the people who come to Substack to make money, to say, hey, give us $100 and you can own part of Substack. We raised our last round of funding in March 2021. We explored how we might make it possible for a large group of writers to invest alongside the traditional investors, but it ultimately proved too complex. Most importantly, it was difficult to include people who were not already accredited investors, a qualification determined largely by wealth, but the idea never left our minds. Elizabeth says, and she believes this, Andreessen Horowitz led the last round of investments, which gave the company $650 million valuation. And an A16Z has been merrily dumping on retail through crypto investments for some time. I don't know what that means. Substack right now is only doing one thing, and that's newsletters. And I think in order to branch out, I know you can embed media in there, but I don't know exactly how deep it goes. I don't know if you can just say, hey, I'm writing newsletters, and then also here's an accompanying YouTube video, or here's an accompanying music playlist from Spotify, or what have you. Substack tried to gain $75 to $100 million from investors last year, but it had a revenue of only $9 million in 2021, and a sky-high valuation on relatively little revenue was not working in 2022. So what happens to a company that is not expanding its horizons when it comes to what it is? But it's not like they can really build on the newsletter platform. Not unless they give you recommendations and actually have a legit front page and then you can go to your subscriptions and things of that nature. Their WeFunder is, oh my gosh. Yeah, they have $6.8 million in their WeFunder from 6,024 investors. I mean, this is people just not even like, I mean, it feels like they're betting on themselves. It's kind of like this is my livelihood. I'm willing to give back from my livelihood in order to save my livelihood. What are they going to use the money for? They're going to build a new economic engine for the culture. Some of the people that use Substack include Margaret Atwood, George Saunders, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Barry Weiss, I know them, Roxanne Gay, Allison Roman. I mean, these are all people you should know. Robert Reich, Michael Moore, Patti Smith. These are all people you should know, yes. And this is a great way to get direct access to some of their writings. I like Margaret Atwood, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I mean, these are all great writers and personalities involving writing. They explain how they're turning Substack into an actual network, and they're providing graphs and numbers. But I don't completely understand if this what they're saying is the numbers and the graphs that they're giving are it's very interesting to look at these graphs. It's saying here's how much money writers earned between 2019 and 2023, and obviously the graph is an upward slope trajectory. And saying like, hey, a lot of people are making a lot of money on here, but that's not necessarily how this is going to work for everyone. And then the same thing is guys, I am doing a podcast. Stop honking. It's still going. But at some point, are people? I mean, it's just another part. It's another subscription. Are people going to get tired of subscribing to things? Are writers going to get tired of? Because you don't see YouTubers going like and giving money back to YouTube. You don't see musicians giving money back to Spotify and to Apple Music and to YouTube Music. I mean, it's kind of a backwards thing. And it looks like the maximum you can invest is $2,200. I don't see this as a viable way for continuing to operate Substack. They're gonna have to get like actual investors, and I don't like this at all. Let's go on to the Wall Street Journal. This is written by Megan Bobrowski. The metaverse is quickly turning into the metaverse. Companies like Walt Disney, Microsoft, and Meta have decided to take a step back when it comes to metaverse. Walt Disney and Microsoft both shuttered divisions around virtual reality. They were, in fact, Walt Disney's happened this past week with their recent amount of layoffs, 7,000 layoffs that they were aiming for. Meta was so excited, was so gung-ho about the metaverse, and now they've had to reel it in to focus more on AI, which is also another dying institution. Meanwhile, the price for virtual real estate is written here. In some online worlds where users can hang out as avatars is catered. The median sale price for land in decentralized has declined almost 90% from a year ago, according to WeMeta, a site that tracks land sales in the metaverse. So what happened? What happened with this metaverse thing? Meta, which was leading the charge on this, formerly known as Facebook, had laid off about 11,000 people in the fall, and this month it said it's going to cut about 10,000 more positions in various projects, including some that are based in the Metaverse division. Was it something? I wonder if it was something that had to do with the rise of AI, with Bing's AI and Google's AI and ChatGPT and all these other AI projects where they saw that was easier to work with or a little bit more viable compared to this digital land where it's hard, especially with the release of the Meta Quest. Is it the Quest? The Quest isn't the big one. The MetaQuest Pro, I think that's what it's called. The $3,000 headset, Apple's VR headset is supposed to be revealed at the next WWDC, and people working at Apple are like, hey, this isn't a good idea. But apparently Tim Apple, he wants it released as soon as possible. I don't see where the point. And I don't know why Disney was working on this in the first place either. I don't see why Disney had to stick its foot in there. You can't touch it. You can't physically touch it. And I feel that, yeah, maybe it is easier to do AI stuff, or if you had to get rid of something, because Disney, like Warner, had to cut back $5.5 billion. I don't know if they had to, but got rid of $5.5 billion worth of assets and positions and things like that. And so doesn't make sense to continue working on something that the technology just isn't there. Because with the MetaQuest Pro, it was just bad. With other headsets, like it just didn't work out, and people weren't seeing the future that way. Like as if we're supposed to jump in head first to this stuff. I don't know. On the same call that with Mark Zuckerberg, where they talked about the future of the metaverse, and I guess it was their earnings call, AI was mentioned 28 times. The word metaverse was mentioned on 7 occasions. Meta didn't respond to a request for that comment. So is a company like Meta going to use AI to help them build the metaverse? I don't know. I never liked it. The metaverse is a lot like cryptocurrency. It's something that probably is going to come in the future, but right now it's not something that you can wholeheartedly trust and really put everything into. All right, let's move on. This next one comes from The Wrap, written by Jeremy Fuster. Hollywood is making diversity progress on streaming, but not theatrical, a UCLA study shows. Baby, we got UCLA's annual Hollywood Diversity Report. And the numbers are better. Among the top 100 streaming films that were original in 2022, 60, which means that they were made for streaming, 64% had casts of at least 30% actors of color, compared to 57% for theatrical films. And the 43% of those that did not have a diverse cast were all nominated for Oscars. Among the top 200, it's very true. Banshees of Inisherin, All Tides of War, whatever the hell that Netflix movie was. Yeah. Among the top 200 highest, anything Guillermo del Toro does, even though he is Mexican. Among the top 200 highest grossing, I don't know why he continues to just cast white cast. It's insane to me. Also, that new Wes Anderson movie. I love Wes Anderson. I want to see Asteroid City. There's 2 people of color in the entire movie. It's about aliens, and there's two people of color in the entire movie, and it's insane. Among the top 200 highest grossing theatrical releases at the North American box office, people of color composed of only 22% of lead actors, 17% directors, and 12% writers, all of which are below record high shares recorded by the study prior to COVID-19 pandemic. Progress for women in key theatrical roles was a bit more mixed. Female share of leads roles in 2022 fell from 44% in 2019 to 39% in 2022, while share of directors and overall cast members remained relatively flat at 15% and 40% in 2022 compared to 15 and 41 in 2019. The one big jump in progress was writing credits, as 27% of credited writers in 2022 theatrical films were women compared to 17% in 2019. Streaming films, by contrast, saw nearly 50-50 gender parity among lead roles in 2022, with women comprising 49% of such lead. That's the first time in ever that this has ever been a thing, and we have to thank streaming. While director parity was not as stronger than theatrical, with 25% of streaming film directors being women and 23% POC. On the writer front, 36% of writers on streaming films were women and 20% were POC, both higher than theatrical. I'm glad to see these numbers be pushed forward, and I really think that it is all thanks to streaming. Streaming has been, as much as I hate to say that a movie made for Netflix isn't going to be, especially like a comedy that would have been a middle tier comedy that would have been in theaters, isn't as good as it would have been like on Netflix as it would have been for theaters. It's I'm thankful that we're finally getting just a little bit better numbers. I would love to see a jump, especially now that movies like Everything Everywhere All at Once and Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I was going to say Black Wakanda again, and like now that we have these movies coming out, and then we're going to have as this person writes, Nia DaCosta's The Marvels, we're going to see just a jump, a push, and it should be more so. Let's continue to get these voices out there. It doesn't like, and I'm not saying let's have a woman run a movie about women. Just give them the same crappy superhero movies that every the Marvels that every white guy gets. I'm so for bigger numbers. Let's continue to push these numbers higher and higher. Let's get them in. Let's get women and people of color and women of color in better positions in order to succeed and make better things than a show called The Night Agent starring a white guy. This final thing comes from David Bowder at AP News, Associated Press. CNN preaches patience as ratings tank during turnaround. I just realized I did not save one of these stories. All right, there we go. I'll close the rest of these. I have to announce everything I do. So we knew that when Chris Licht took over that it was going to be a kind of a soft period for CNN, especially after they took away the bipartisanship, the lack of bipartisanship apparently that CNN was displaying, where they would really do more stories catered towards the left, the Democrats. I would be a great pundit because I've just been just pushing the Democrats, the other side, the GOP, Cable news ratings are down across the board. Apparently in 2022, when Russia's invasion of the Ukraine was fresh in the news, CNN's dip is most dramatic, 61% in prime time in March, with Fox News down 27%. And MSNBC off by 12%, according to the Nielsen Company. Fox averaged 2.09 million viewers in primetime in March, with MSNBC at 1.14 and CNN at 4,703. Excuse me, 473,000. How much is that? 473,000? That is some of the lowest numbers that CNN has had in decades. And that's not good. I think, so like I said, it's a mixture of the change of head at CNN. But I also think it comes with, they lost Cuomo. They had, just a very tumultuous year. They're shifting around people from their regular broadcasts left and right. Now we have a new version of CBS. We have CBS Mornings now. We're going to get a new mid-morning show at 9:00 between 9 and 12. I'm getting a phone call. Am I supposed to be doing something? No, that's at 1:30. I don't know who that is. Changes. So as I was saying, the changes to the daytime are imminent. There we go. Mute that. We're gonna see more mixtures of people. We're apparently there's a report that there's a deal for Gayle King and Charles Barkley to have their own show in a prime time that'll air once a week. We have the 9 p.m. hour is now CNN Presents, essentially, which is a different long form hour-long news story. On Sundays, we're getting a news magazine style show hosted by Anderson Cooper. CNN is trying to, or Chris Licht and CNN are trying to position themselves as a way to they're trying to take back what streaming has taken from them. People are watching, documentaries are really taking over. Like on Netflix, you'll see, what is this? Oh, I'm getting a text. Okay, we're back. I actually had to stop down. I got a very important text message. A very important text message that needed to be answered. Along with a very important email that should have been looked at. Apparently, I'll go ahead. I'll go. No. We'll save it. No. I'll do it now. I was late to the interview. I thought the interview started at 1:30. It is 100% my fault for the person, the comedy facing person that I was talking to. I 100,000% looked at the email and went, "This is the time I'm supposed to be going. I'm supposed to be doing it." And then it was the wrong time. It was 30 minutes after the time. So I'm like, I got time. I got plenty of time. 12:59. I got plenty of time. 1:02. I got plenty of time. Let me finish this episode of News of Constitutionals. And then I get a text as I'm talking about CNN or whatever the heck. And I go, all right, it must be someone texting me for whatever, like a friend or something, obviously. And then I get the phone call and I go, I don't recognize this number. And it's not one of the bill collectors. And then I get another text and I go, who is this? And it turns out it was the people. And I went, oh crap. Oh my God. I felt so bad. So what I did was I got out of the chair, ran to my room, changed the shirt, immediately dismantled the Constitutionals, which, I mean, all it was just taking off the headphones and turning off the iPad and turning off the fourth channel just in case the iPad went off. And I logged into the Zoom and I just started apologizing. Literally the first thing I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, person X. You'll find out next week. The next thing that is inside of the Constitutionals, whatchamacallit. The first, you know what? I'm not mad at myself. I'm disappointed. I'm laughing and I am so embarrassed. Oh my God. Usually I am on top of that stuff. And I thought I had it right, but I did not. All right. So I was talking about CNN. We gotta finish this episode still. I was talking about CNN. And the last thing I was talking about was comparing it to Netflix, the documentaries and everything. There has been a push on CNN for more news-based projects. And now we're taking away documentaries. There's something about CNN should be the. I think Chris is correct. Is that it should be CNN should be the middle ground when it comes to MSNBC and Fox. However, I do think that stifling your commentators, your hosts, is a little bit more intrusive, especially when it comes to the correspondence that they have on. Because if you look at CNN Mornings, which is the show with Caitlin Collins, my beautiful future bride, Don Lemon and Poppy Harlow, they often have like Adam Kissinger, that guy on who used to be a Republican senator, I think, and that beautiful lady who's also a Republican. They have this, I don't know her name, and then they also have a lot of Dems on who are also correspondents as well. I think largely that show is working. I do think that even as much as I am in love with Caitlin Collins, the three people on that show have nothing in common. But they do feature a lot of really good stories, and there's a lot of really good reporting, and I see what they're trying to get at. but it's just not coming together cohesively. And and I can go ahead and say whatever they're going to do for the 9 a.m. hour, a couple of hours is going to be the same thing, and then the rest of the midday lineup. I don't know how you. What we're at a point now with cable news like Fox, MSNBC, and CNN, CNBC, and then now we're gonna then let's expand that to broadcast with NBC News and CBS News and ABC News Tonight. We're at a point now where they need to innovate. You see where local news is. Local news is dying, is fledgling, and I used to be a part of that. And you could not innovate there whatsoever. But then when I left, it was a place where every single, like, they were building a new set. They were moving around, not the host, anchors. They were moving around anchors. They were moving around the reporters between the morning shows and the afternoon shows and the evening shows. And in some cases, it has worked. Like at my old network, my old place, WXIA, the NBC News affiliate in Atlanta, I think the new set looks fine. All this handheld camera stuff that these local news stations are doing, it doesn't jazz up the fact that you're talking about either a murder that happened in DeKalb County or the prices of homes going up across the city. And I want to say that for Atlanta News First, which is the alt-right CBS and Atlanta station is not alt-right, but Atlanta News First sounds alt-righty. And then same thing for WSB. I don't watch the Fox thing. But I mean, like, as much as they change, they're still underneath all of the gunk. They're still the same type of shows. And so, and taking from the broadcast and looking forward into cable, or looking upward into cable rather, there needs to be some sort of, you can zhuzh up something as much as possible, but the fact of the matter is you have to have the people behind it as well as the stories behind it that really do well. I like PBS NewsHour. It is so dry. It's like eating the driest chicken. But it works in their favor. I don't know if that's going to be something that people want to see on CNN, because it's not what they want to see on Fox News. They want the people who watch Fox News want to be riled up, and that's what their hosts do. Can CNN be entertaining as well as informative? Who knows? We don't know. Okay. Okay. I think that might be it. I don't know. I'm no news guy. Listen, if you like what you heard here, and you trust me to not be late to an interview, head on over to cpluscomedy.com, where we've got other podcasts, including this is the Constitutionals, including Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, which is a late night show podcast, and LinkedIn Logs, which is the show where I try to become a linked influencer and an OnlyFan. If you want to see video versions of these shows, as well as on cpluscomedy.com, you can see my interviews with comedians and comedy people and actors and all that stuff, and I feel so bad still. You got to move on, though. Whatever, you got to move on. YouTube.com/cpluscomedy to see all the videos everywhere for C Plus Comedy, including for this podcast, for the other podcast, the interviews, as well as News Time, which is our premiere show. It's an entertainment business news show, like The Daily Show, except way less funny. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at C Plus Comedy. Follow me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell your friends about us, and That's it. Enjoy your time away from me. Goodbye forever. No, I'm kidding. See ya.